Hi everyone. So in this video we will continue with our business domain modeling, or with the functional aspects of the application. And the next feature request would be that we are able to create products via regular mechanisms of the user interface. So the feature description would go like this: as a real rental business employee, I want to create rental construction products, like mini excavators with their general attributes, so that I can register stock items of this product for later rentals. And the concrete to-dos would here for us be create the product entity first, and then store the information about the product, like the name or description. And then we can also perhaps take a look into this pricing modeling. Okay, so let's go ahead here in our application. Once again, I create a branch for create products, and the same thing as I already did last time is I now change the URL of the database, and then I immediately run the application in order to get like a proper state as it is currently should be in the database before I start modeling out anything. So now the Jmix application start, we actually don't need that, but let's just for now go ahead here and say we would like to create a JPA model, and this would be then the product. I once again put that into a corresponding package here, and it will be an entity, but the parent is our new standard entity that we created last time. So everything is already configured here for us. So we can just go ahead and create that. Then the first thing would be to have a name, and this name should be mandatory. And one thing that I last time forgot for the customer is to also set this not null constraint here. So let's activate this one. And the second thing then would be that we would like to have a description. And this description, in this case, it still be a string, but it should be of unlimited characters. Or perhaps, it doesn't really matter for now. We can just leave the length unlimited. It doesn't need to be mandatory. And with that, we already probably have enough stuff in order to generate our changelog. So let's go ahead here and say data stores generate liquid-based changelog. And now we have this create table statement. And I should once again go here into my liquid-based changelog files and rename that accordingly. So this will be create product. Okay, with that we can already run the application and see if our data model is working. And the next thing that we can do is to say that we would like to create a user interface for that. So let's do that here, new screen, and then we go ahead with the standard settings as we have done it for the customer. I will here say it should be product, and then it should be in the subsection of screen. So table type can be group type. Perhaps we want to, at some point categorize them later or something like this. But besides that, everything should be fine. It should also be in the application menu. And regarding the stuff that we want to display there, okay, so this is just the base configuration here for all of our attributes, and we do the same thing for the editor. And so besides this one here, I think we are also fine with the messaging. Okay, yeah, with that actually in place, let's take a look on how this looks in the running application. So now here we have our products, and we can store a particular product with with a description and so on and so forth. So nothing special up until now. With that, we almost covered those two things here. And yeah, then perhaps in this story, what we can also do is go ahead and do the appropriate testing. So if we just lean on the stuff that we already have for example, the customer validation test. So what we can do here is to say we would like to have a product validation test, and this should actually be in the product package. So let's see what we have to change here. So first of all, our instance will be of type product and not of type customer anymore. And yeah, then we should set the name. And okay, so here we currently have two tests that check invalid situations because of different scenarios. So let's fix this one here. So first of all, we start with one test. So customer, this will be product without name. And probably we can simplify this naming here a little bit. Then one violation occurs. So this would be like null. And if we validate that, then we should see some error message going on. Okay, so this seems to be just fine. So we can also make a happy path where we have valid product. When validate, then no violation occurs. So this would mean we have something like a valid name, and besides that, we don't have any restrictions currently on the product. So this means we can say here, like if we continue with the has size 0, then has size 1, then it should actually the test should actually fail because there should be no violations. Yes, so this is exactly right. So, and this means we can say is empty. Let's run that again. Okay, with that we have already created our validation test. Let's see if there's something else that we would want. Yeah, I mean, we could write an integration test for the storing of the product. Probably actually let's rewrite that and say something like this to see how this can be just stored. So here the first thing once again would be, since we're talking about the product, this should change accordingly. And as you might know from this last video, we did here two things. So first of all, we now introduced this database cleanup in this last video, and before we actually try to keep track of the objects that we store, and then we remove them once again. So now I remember. So I think last time we actually already fixed that, because we said that this database cleanup in the customer integration test will now handle all this heavy lifting. So this is why it's not present anymore. But let's double check on that. Let me search for data manager. remove. Here we actually have it. So where is that happening? So this is in this customer browse test. Okay, then I mixed it up a little bit. But yeah, okay, I see. So this means that here we actually do have these two approaches, which we probably can align. But for now, when we just do that for our test case here, we could, just not store this at all, at least in a field, because the product can actually be here instantiated. So when we now rename that accordingly, then it should actually do the trick. And here we actually clean up this product table. So with that, we can now go ahead and say set name, and this would be product or food product, whatever. Address we also don't need, and then set description. All right, so with that, we actually store the product and see that nothing really bad happens here. Perhaps this assertion we actually can improve a little bit, and instead of just relying on the stuff that comes back here from the data manager, we could also just try to load this data, although I'm not really sure if there's any real difference. I would assume that the data manager actually fetches the instance once again and then returns it back. So probably it's fine to just leave it like this. Okay, so when given we have a valid product, when we save, then the product is saved. And the reason why I'm already introducing that, although currently this is really just standard generated CRUD operations, is that perhaps in the next video, when we actually will deal with the pricing, then we can just enhance these tests here and really from the get-go have a good test suite that will actually allow us on doing various things and just extending the tests here. Okay, so I reran now all the tests. Okay, so everything should be fine. And with that, I think when we go here once again into our application, so we already tested everything. So right now it's in this application menu. I think this is all fine. So probably let's just commit the stuff, and then also get basically we're done with this whole story. Okay, so let me just create a pull request here, and all right, so with that, let me just close this app. The test will continue to run here in the CI system, but for us, I think we can close the story. We have done this one and this one, and this particular topic we will just take care in the next video. All right, thank you very much for watching, and then see you next time.